I found this tape down the woods. It's safe to say I shouldn't watch it. During my hike in the woods, I stumbled across this tape that I found on my trip. The place I found this tape is down a thicket of branches. The tape was buried deep down the branches near a small detour in the trail. The only reason I found this tape is after we cleared this small pile for us to set up camp, there it was, a tape lying underneath the pile. It's almost as if someone was hiding this thing underneath the pile. I grabbed it and stashed it in my bag for the future, and I continued on with my hike for the next couple of days. When I got home, I then looked closely at this tape that I just got. The tape is a VHS tape with a paper note titled "For Mom." The only notable thing about the tape is that its shell is somewhat damaged, probably due to the thing being piled underneath the branches and leaves, or it was probably dropped on the ground. Seeing this, my curiosity piqued as I wanted to know what was in that tape. I decided to buy a tape recorder, the cheapest one I could possibly find. I scoured the internet for an old tape recorder, and I found an absolutely cheap one for only $5. Its owner, a young man living in a modest house doing a garage sale. He told me that he decided to sell off some of his father's belongings as he doesn't need any of it anymore, and he is willing to get rid of it for an absolutely cheap price. I bought it, plugged it in my TV, and finally, I placed the tape inside the recorder and played it. The recorder was that archaic as the quality of the image was compressed in a 4:3 format, which meant it left lots of space to the side of my TV screen. The recorder began to play the footage in it. The footage starts with a man recording their journey in the woods, just walking by the trail. The camera person wandered aimlessly in the woods, only stopping when he wanted to point the camera somewhere else and look around. This went on for a couple of minutes before I finally saw something that raised my eyebrows. When the camera person walked towards a thick set of bushes, he then began to point the camera somewhere, but at first it was completely out of focus when we saw it. The cameraman then adjusted the contrast of the video, zoomed it in even more, and then corrected the focus of the video. It revealed a small house in the distance, situated on top of a small hillside connected by a dirt driveway leading downhill. After a couple of minutes of silence, the cameraman finally began to speak. The compound. Many people around the area talked about this place. Here we are. The camera eventually zoomed out, but maintaining focus on the house in the distance. The recording then panned side to side, checking what is within its surroundings. On the left side of the property is dense forest, with parts of the dirt road extending deep within the tree line. On the right of the property is a fenced area. Within it is an open field filled with random objects such as furniture, appliances, and tools, all piled in a single area. Beyond that is mostly thick forest and not much else of note. The cameraman then explained what that property is supposed to be. According to him, the house was once owned by a family who lived there for 50 years. Then the house was eventually sold to another family, which is now the family that was supposed to live in that house. He said that the family is owned by a small family from Canada who then moved down here in New England. He further explained that the family is a bit of a mystery for the residents within the vicinity of this home. He notes that one homeowner not far from the area told the cameraman that he once observed the family walking by the trails just near the trail system where the homeowner is far from. He claimed that the father of the family was talking about something, one where he noted that the mother looked at the father blank-eyed, almost as if he said something he shouldn't. The children, however, were none the wiser as they strolled the wooded area, oblivious to what is being talked about by the parents. He then told another story. This one is that of another homeowner living next to a lake that he was hunting for deer one cold morning when he saw in the reticle of the man's rifle scope the family strolling. The hunter, of course, did not pay any attention to the family when he first saw them strolling by the woods. Minutes passed when he veered back at the family once more and he saw a harrowing sight on him. The cameraman can only describe this account as the man saw the family gaze at the hunter's general direction, prompting the man to aim the rifle clearly and see what they will do. The accounts, of course, aren't really out of the ordinary, contrary to what the cameraman has to say about this matter. That changed for the worse when he began detailing the third account of this family. He then retold the account of a hiker who was walking through the wooded area nearby. During the evening when he was about to set camp, the hiker heard a noise, prompting him to look around and locate the source of the noise. The hiker only saw nothing but the forest around him. The hiker then set up his tent for the night and finally rested. That was until he saw a silhouette of a person standing directly outside his tent, alarming the hiker. Before he even unzipped the tent, the figures disappeared, but not before hearing noises from a distance, moving away from the tent. The hiker's story doesn't sound unrelated at first, but the cameraman argued that this is the family in question who decided to approach the tent and investigate. He claimed in his own recording that the family wanted something to anyone who is in the proximity of their property, and that they will do something about it if there was any issue. Sounds like someone telling a random person to leave the property if you ask me, but what do I know? The cameraman then began to make a move towards the property and walked towards the house itself. He descended down the slope facing the property and began to sneakily bolt it towards the nearby bushes. There, he hid underneath the bushes, and once he felt secured in his hiding spot, he continued to talk honestly. I thought about it for a while. When I heard about the gossip about this property, my conclusion was that there was a family of doomsday preppers making it known that they are going to hide and they will do it against the will of the world. Now looking closely at it, no, it's something much more than meets the eye. Whatever this family is hiding, I must know what it is. The cameraman eventually began to sneak closer and closer to the house, trying as hard as he could to not to make loud noise during his trek. Eventually, he found himself standing next to a closed window. He raised the camera higher towards the window. The camera is now pointing at the interior of the house. As the camera pans side to side, showing me the interior of the house, I see that the house that he was recording is empty. Sure, the kitchen furniture like cabinets and the tabletop is there, but there was no fridge, no stove, none of that in the kitchen at all. The cameraman, of course, did not see what the camera was showing me, which means that when I saw a shadowy figure standing in the far end of the house within the darker spots of the house, the cameraman did not even see it at all. The camera eventually pointed back outside, first to the ground and eventually the legs of the cameraman. Okay, this is the house of the family. I'm going to see what's in there first before I get in. The cameraman then stood up and peeked through the window. As expected, the cameraman was confused at the sight I saw prior when I heard him mutter, "Where the hell is the furniture of this place?" He then gets an even clearer view of the interior. Strange, there is nothing inside this place, he muttered, barely audible within the tape itself. The cameraman eventually